Hello traders, wonderful weekend. Vladimir here, and this is a weekly market review and my forecast following my trading setups for the week starting on 30th of April 2017. Well, this is going to be a very interesting week because on Monday, as it is a day off around Europe due to the 1st of May, the market volatility should be low, at least on the beginning. The US session and the Asian session might warm up, and this is going to be very busy because we have cash rate in Australia. Let's actually take a look on the list. Here we go. Okay, it starts with bank holiday actually today. Happy holidays in China. Then on Monday we have it in Swiss, France, Germany, Italy, Britain, all around Europe. All the main central banks will be closed. That should and would affect the volatility, of course. US session, they might return, especially with the Treasury Secretary Minister speech, and then basically it's it's warming up. Then we have the casing manufacturing PMI in China to be published, cash rate in Australia, followed by rate statement, and basically we are jumping all the way to Wednesday when Federal Reserve would release their rates and the statement. Now this time they're not expected to increase the rate, but it's very interesting to see what's coming beside that. Okay, trade balance in Australia to follow, and then all the way to Thursday, where Draghi and Paulus will have their speech, followed by the Australian monetary policy statement, inflation expectation in New Zealand, and Friday, very busy day with the non-farm payrolls report and a speech from Miss Yellen. So, a very busy fundamental week. Most likely that we will experience some moves, and it's good if we will be ready to trade some. Okay, so let's begin. Let's start with the euro dollar, which continued to show muscles, especially after previous week good results happened in France. This double cycle we've had, still holding it and still holding that pretty stiff, as you can see. Okay, we can mark that as our triangle zone, like that. Yeah. And the breakout that followed right from this area, actually it was the first double cycle, then it was moving inside. Yeah. This is the first area it holds, and of course we have this area, okay, that also so far holding. Now there was and still is good chance that the euro dollar will actually drop to below the parity zone to finish all that craziness and then fly, but currently the move is going up. Cycles are holding well. Even this cycle, the last one before the breakout, took us all the way, as you can see here, right? Took us all the way for duplication, and we're still dancing around this zone. So so far all remains same, and we have this range which is also still holding. So for me, especially remembering the fact that round 2 in France elections is still to come, the European bullish pressure should continue. I believe there is more to come. Currently the gap was not closed, it still might though. For me the plan was not changed. The euro dollar is neither going to do like that or going to make some kind of range here and make one more push. I see that going higher, and I believe it would go higher. There is currently no real divergence preventing anyhow the rallies, combining the daily and the weekly chart. On the weekly, we might say, okay, there is a trend line and bearish hitting divergence forming, but the daily chart still provides no support. There is no bearish divergence on the current rally. Therefore, I believe there is more to come to the upside, at least to cross to above 110, and very likely it would be even higher. So 110 might be first target, and we might see that dancing there. So how do we basically going to play that? I would do that in 2 waves, of course, back to the trend line, and start looking for setups here for buys. Or alternative would be the European dollar, euro-dollar range, and something like from the bottom of the range to go and try this buy. Now, if we go and we ask the help from forex crystal ball, we will figure out that basically we are on a rallying, beautifully rallying channel, which means every time we go lower, the pressure remains very, very high, right? If we take a look on the bottom of the days, we can figure out, right, that it was holding very, very stiff, and it creates the bottom around the 30 would be the beginning of the week, right? And that would give us a very powerful bottom days. So this correction might be already creating the bottom for us. There is a very good powerful buy zone here. So this is that's 2 action zones we have. 1, the bottom of this range. 2, slightly lower if we complete the 2-wave cycle, exactly as we explained. So forex crystal ball goes hand by hand with our expectations here. Pound dollar continues its bullish run, and I do not see that changing. Buy, buy, buy. I said that many times, and I will repeat that and said it over and over again. Buy all around. For the long run, of course. For the short run, there is a pretty good chance that we are coming to a potential top, which should be somewhere above 130. If we put these 2 cycles on the list, we would figure out that it happens right here from 131 area ish, right, to the area of 132. But there is also one more thing to mention here, and this thing is called a gap. This gap was closed right from this area, and it is there right now. So there is pretty nice chance we will start to see the bearish fight right from here. It might go back and forth, try to reach this area, this zone, which would be of course ideal, and from there we are going to see some very nice correction. So the higher we go, the better the sell should be. Currently on the 4-hour chart, that's where we fight, right? This one. And if we go for the big cycle, okay, which is, again, it's not really measurable since this all this range is inside one bar, but our level is again the 131. There is more to go on the short term. I would do that very, very simple. Every 2 waves down we get, if we get, we are looking to continue the rally towards 134 zone. So any drop to below 129 down to 128 should use us for buy opportunity. If we rely on the Libra code, if we rely on the forex crystal ball, the Libra code that's my preferred setups based on the false breaks. If we rely on the days here, we can figure out that there is a good chance short-term correction is actually coming, and the closer we get to the channel, the better the bullish pressure would be. We are currently in a very good zones, 27, 29. If we cross through them, there is nothing to hold the rallies until the 6th, so it can continue and continue the whole period. So every short drop we have should use us as a great buy opportunity, and that's the levels we have here as well. That's the 4-hour chart, which might give us this chance as explained. Okay, and we want to continue higher from there. Okay, so that's basically our zones. On the 4-hour chart, it provides us around 128.50. so we can trade in between the zones. Look for that. It's really might be really good setup. Next one is the crossing between them, and that's the euro pound. Now, on the long term, my view wasn't remain bearish, of course, but currently the pair is actually fighting the 61.8 area. This is the one, and still the bottom of the range. On the daily chart, right, with all the gap we had, it's coming to close the gap, and there is a very good chance it will. But again, it's kind of a special cycle forming here right now. It's like one, boom, and it might be like this. With a bullish divergence forming, I would not be surprised if the euro pound at the end of the day would start to make some kind of a rally once again. So currently on the 4-hour chart, we don't really have a setup, especially after this trend line seems to be broken. That was a bullish hidden divergence, but it was not supported for real on that place for the 1-hour chart, and we cannot gain yet the momentum. So what I would be waiting for, if it's really the area where it already does hold, then we should get above this high, 2 waves correction, and then the breakout of it we can go and buy. But if we continue to drop down, then let's rely on the crystal ball, and we would figure out the next important days also would be 5th and 6th, if we really don't hold the 30, which is currently at. So there is a good chance the beginning of the entire week would yet remain bearish, taking us somewhere to here to close the gap and then start the correction. If that's the case, I would do that very simply, okay? As long as this top holds, because it seems currently like some bearish trend line holding here, right? Something like that, and we are there. It's still holding. What I would say here is, as long as the top holds, right, on the short term, right, we might be looking for these kind of opportunities, especially to close the gap. That, of course, as long as the false break didn't happen and we didn't get 2 waves and continuation. If we do have this setup, like higher highs, momentum will change by higher highs as well. If that doesn't happen, we could look for the sell rallies. Go with the setup as suggested. Okay, that's for the cross of these two. Now, dollar Canadian. This pair, well, it's kind of a beast here because on the weekly cycle we are next to 61.8, dancing, fighting, holding. On the daily cycle we are, believe it or not, let's measure that right. Okay, we are next to the duplication area. Divergence is there, forming, happening. Basically, we can say that the pair is around 2 magnet zones. This is zone number 1, this is zone number 2. So, what's going to happen here? On the 4-hour chart, we are also creating kind of a special cycle. I do expect bears to take some kind of control here, and I would expect a correction. There is a chance we might get it towards 141 right after that, but on the short term I would not be surprised if we do get fighting here with the bears. On the 4-hour chart there is a bearish divergence forming here, false breaks all over. It does look like a good sell mode. So after we had a first false break here, the second false break might be the one to make the call, and the way for that to trade would be, of course, to go here, get the correction up into waves and the breakout, and we might try to go short. We want to trade the 4-hour chart cycle followed by the daily chart cycle. We need to go and trade the 1-hour chart setups. The previous convergence here did not hold. I was trying also to trade it, by the way, to be honest. Okay, this one did not hold, and we got it going higher. And again, it's now in a good zone to relook the trade that. Currently currently. We still need that was a Fallsberg, that's a 2 candles rule. We still need to see some kind of a high here, and then we mark this bottom, lower lows, correction, and retrace to go for a sell. All right. Or the alternative is, since we already have this false breaks, we might get the lows in 3 waves, 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, and the breakout. We can trade it. If we go and check ourselves based on the crystal ball, we can see that also based on the days, we are in a very good period. If 28, which was on Friday, does not hold, then we actually go through the beginning of the month, and in between the 1st and the 5th is going to find a top for us. So we are approaching to the very good zone. In terms of levels, we are right there already for the shorter. The next one would be only around 138, and the 1 hour chart also has a great levels for us. So now it's only time to wait for the setups. CAD franc is another pair I'm looking to go long. As per investment, it's already in good valid zones. As not per investment, we still need to find this kind of setup. So we had a false break, we need to go for higher highs, then corrections and up. But there is a good chance. Let's start from the beginning. What do we trade here? This is a monster triple cycle, reducing triple cycle on the monthly chart. That's a monster, okay? That's what it is. We got here a wedge, which seems trying to go and break that. Trying to break it, okay? On a daily chart, we are now on a range here. And this is why it's an amazing opportunity to start collecting these buys. There is a good chance we will get it going lower to something like 070 or maybe 068 zone. But the bottom line here is the further we go lower, the stronger the zone would be for pressure to go for buys, because we are going to fly here. And according to this monster cycle we have, the final target for this adventure is going to be here, 094 zone. That's going to be busy, long and busy. So that's why for me it was and remain only for longs. Next one on the list would be the CAD versus the yen, which is also in a very interesting zone. According to weekly cycle, we had this special cycle before, and according to that we should be mirroring it. Okay, we can say we reached the target in between the 38 to 50, so now it's actually mirroring it, which means, in other words, it's currently making the range pattern. One falls back on the bottoms, falls back on the top. We are in a range. By ideal, we should be looking to buy here. That would be really amazing, really powerful. Not by ideal. On a daily chart, we already had a great cycle opportunity. We have the 161.8 formed here, and we have a triple cycle formed here. There is a very good chance we're going to see some kind of correction here before it might take us for further adventure downside. For me, as long as the low holds, we are after buys. On the 4-hour chart, we have some kind of a range here. Okay, so as long as that's the situation, I would be looking to go for buys here. Okay, and on the 1-hour chart, also ranging pattern. We have this trend line. We are looking for breakouts, retraces, and buys. All that is relevant as long as the daily low holds. Next one on the list, New Zealandian dollar. Where it is, here we go. New Zealandian dollar seems at the end of the day going and making the double cycle here correction, which means 067 zone. approximately. That also brings us to, here we go, that would be the duplication area, and that would be also a 61.8 expansion of this cycle, which brings me to the understanding we are continuing lower. Every rally in the short term we get here, we should be looking to go for sells. I'll summarize that pretty simple. As long as this top holds, every rally we get, look to go for sell, aiming the target mentioned before. Australian dollar still also dancing around the same correction zone by itself. By ideal, we might have it around 0.72, the bottom of the weekly range. I'm doubtful we will have it here, but it's still a possibility. We have some news coming in Australia this week, so keep an eye there. It could be really interesting one. Buy dips, plan does not change. One to follow is the Australian versus the franc, which I want to get involved with. I still want it to go lower to 0.73 or so. On a daily chart, it seems we are after 161.8, which is almost there, and the duplication of this cycle, which could be also double, right, like this, right, this or this, and again it brings us to the same zone. So there is a divergence forming here, okay, which means there is a good chance that this trend line is going to hold, and we are about to fly for new highs from here. And again, I want to remind where it all happens from the monthly chart. Okay, we are on double cycle here. We are on double cycle here. The pressure was and remains bullish. Only for buys, bullish hidden divergence forming on a weekly chart as well. But on the for short term, I would be looking for safer trading, which means go above this high, go lower for 2 and fly. Okay, that as long as this bottom holds. If we just go lower, then we have the next levels to watch, which are going to be, of course, amazing opportunity. Aussie Kiwi is the next one I want to discuss and put it on the list. Aussie Kiwi is this is for long run, is only buy. My view did not change, it just remained very powerful. But on the short term, this triple cycle should provide us opportunity to go, okay, and find the shorts. Now this cycle brings us to 161 is right here, slightly above the 109, which was approached and reached during Friday. Right, this is very interesting opportunity, and this is also the 61.8 of this cycle. They really sit and fight together. On the 1 hour chart, we can see that was also triple cycle here. We had a false break right here. We had a false break right here. We might have this one as well. So what I would be looking to do here is, if we go to below this area, pull back and looking to go short on the short term correction. It looks good. And of course, after that, I would be looking to go for heavy buy, so drop and buys again for long run to hold. New Zealand yen, I said it on the previous weeks, and I will just repeat that. I want to see this one completing this special cycle, which means I want it to go to 75-74 zone, where from I believe we are going for a fly according to the weekly cycle. Okay, 75-74, and we can really look for long-term buys here. And I showed that opportunities because they are still forming, so I don't really have anything formed right now. All I have formed I just showed already. All these ones are ones to follow. Okay, pound yen is another pair I have on the list. This one is only for long-term buys. That's not a question, but we are in a very interesting zone already. This zone is a duplication here. Okay, it was a special cycle, correction and continuation here. We are still in a good zone of duplication. Divergence is all around. False break forming already, one here. Okay, with the divergence on the moving averages, and one might be forming here as well. So we have to keep an eye on this opportunity. There is a way to do that false break as well. Okay, on false break, lower lows, retrace, and buys. This is basically what we will want to see. False break, retrace, lower lows, trendline breakouts, retrace, and we go for short-term sell opportunities. Okay, that's this one is to follow. Of course, if it just keep going, let it go, because we might be looking then for the next level, and the next level could be higher. Okay, and basically that's all. But our long-term plan we have had on the previous weeks. Those of you who watch the weekly forecast know that it was holding the level we have been talking about and doing very well since then. So buy rallies would remain the same idea. Next one I have on the list, let me check. What else we have on the list here? No, all that, actually that's all. That's all the best setups I have here. I want to talk about a few other interesting opportunities. One of them is sugar, which is according to long-term cycle. We're in a range here. One falls back on the top, one falls back on the bottom. We are now next to the range of the bottom of the range, so we might be looking for long-term rallies. According to weekly, we had this special cycle, triple cycle up. We now have double cycle correction, bullish hidden divergence forming here. Daily cycle as well, beautifully formed, and now a false break followed by bullish divergence. So buy it as, buy sugar. Very interesting opportunity. Oil, doing exactly what we have been talking on a previous week, did almost nothing this week, and it has two options. One, it's gonna block here and rally. Option number two, we're gonna get it to deeper correction, something like 44 or so, and then start the flight. Both scenarios are acceptable. Currently, I still believe there is a good chance we are going to see here some kind of triangle movement. On the 4-hour chart, we did have a special cycle, which is here, of course. We had a false break, 2 in a row. We did not get any convergences yet, so by ideal, we want to see convergence. Okay, which means a break of this high correction and then buys. Or on the 1-hour chart though, we had kind of a movement on that place. Okay, it was here followed by bearish divergence. There is a good chance that what it does would be like this: 1, 2, and if we get a false break here and then trendline breakout, that could lead us for a rally as well. As per levels, we have a very good support for that, so that's what could lead us to that idea as I just suggested. If we break through, we go lower. Indices, I do not, as for now, have a read. There is a good chance we are going to see one more spike through this week before the crash taking place. It's building itself everywhere. Only problem with all that, it takes time. But the way it behaves right now and the way it builds its cycles, it looks like summer might be a very bearish period. The way it performs, the way it builds itself with the cycles in terms of the time range, showing that it's preparing the ground for something massive that might begin in May and might go through the summertime. So I don't know how to explain that and why, but if you take a look on all the way the cycles go, you would understand that starting from May through the summer, this is a very dangerous period where huge move is very doable. And will that happen or not? Of course, no one knows, but I would be careful, especially with Mr. Trump ideas. You know, it's pretty dangerous. I'm not going to judge anyone politically because I'm not into the politics, but it's dangerous. Few things happening show risk in the world, and that's all. So while the big guys are playing, you know, the small guys like us should be careful. And one of the things to be careful with is, of course, stock trading, because according to the latest numbers, there are new records of opening new big trading accounts buying stocks, and that's really dangerous from my point of view. So that will be all as for this week, guys. There are many more charts forming a potential setups, but I don't have setups there as for now. Therefore, I don't want to waste your time talking about it. I will talk about them, of course, on the daily updates, okay, daily forecast. So that's all. Follow me there. Get your setups ready, and I will keep sharing you, of course, on my daily basis starting from Tuesday. Monday is also a day off in Europe. So happy holidays to those of you who celebrate 1st of May. And thank you very much for your time watching this video. I really appreciate you find the time to watch my setups and my ideas, and I hope it helps you guys. That's my goal here, you know that. So I hope I help, and I hope you like my ideas. And I wish you happy Sunday to come, and happy trading, wonderful week ahead. So thank you once again. I'll see you on the daily forecasts and on the next week weekly setup. Yours, Vladimir Ribakov.